So, welcome to The Showcase, the podcast which shines a light on trailblazers in the world of art and entertainment. And this week, I can promise you my most horrible, memorable guest today.
See what you did there.
Quite simply, the icon that I have in front of me is one of the grande dames of the West End stage, a stalwart of theatre who has notched up a career spanning 5 decades. Her resume is like a rundown of theatrical greatest hits, which include Cabaret, Sunset Boulevard, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Kiss Me Kate, Wicked, and of course, Mamma Mia, in which she appeared for a staggering 7-year stint. Aside from that, she's an enduring supporter of numerous charitable endeavours and has appeared in some of British television's most culturally recognisable hits. But I best crack on because my mother doesn't know that I'm out. Please welcome Kim Ismay.
Great introduction. I'm thrilled.
Well, exactly. At this stage, you could be my chosen mastermind subject. So, you know. Well, let's see if we've got it all right.
Fabulous. I don't think I could. I get things wrong all the time.
Well, I mentioned, your longevity in this industry.
Yes, I didn't realise I was that old. I knew I was old, but...
Sorry, obviously you're still only 22. You have got so many massive shows to your name.
Yeah.
Do you think there's been one defining role for you?
Oh, that's so hard. That's a very, very hard question because certain roles stand out and certain shows stand out for different reasons.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, it was the question that I was asked at my final Mamma Mia audition. The Mamma Mia auditions used to be very different, and on a Sunday, they used to get people in and mix and match people up together, and we'd spend the whole day playing, and it was wonderful. And Phillida, the director, said to me, "So what's been your best show? What's been your most important show up to date?"
Oh, wow.
And I was like, you can't ask me that. It's all different reasons.
Yeah.
I think it has to be Mamma Mia because it was the one show that I'd really wanted to be in for a while and I was in the running originally, and everything conspired against me. I was late to the audition twice, and I'm never late. People that know me know I'm an obsessively early person. Everything was right. I didn't do my best. And these things happen, and you just have to...
Yeah.
You just have to play the cards you're dealt on that hand.
Yeah.
And when I got it, it was such a joyous thing.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I didn't do 7 years in one go.
Yes.
That, I think, would have been a bit much for the audience as well as for me. I did 3 years, and then I went away for 6, and then I went back for 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How does it work, actually? It's fascinating. In terms of going back,
yeah.
Are you still in the process where you have to go back and audition all over again? Or is it a case where they know you?
Sometimes some companies do that. Sometimes it's a courtesy thing.
Yeah.
When there's been a gap of a long time, I did go back in and sing for Nick Finlow again, just to make sure that I could still hit the notes after 6 years. Has she lost her voice? Has she still got it? Just as a courtesy, really, but I didn't have to audition.
Yeah.
And it was lovely. It was lovely going back. It really was.
Yeah.
Oh, it's delightful.
Are you a firm believer? I've asked lots of people this before, but you mentioned the fact that auditioning the first time round, being late and all of that. Do you actually now, kind of in hindsight, think, well, everything must happen for a reason? Because obviously you ended up in that role and did it for a long time. So
yeah, and timing is everything. In this industry, timing is practically everything. Because some people are industry ready when they come out of their training, and that's their time, their absolute time. Some people's time is when they're young, when they're fresh and new, and that is their peak time. And then that might carry on, or it might trail off. You don't know. I was always told, which is not something you want to hear when you're 22, that I wouldn't come into my own until I was in my mid to late 30s.
Oh, wow.
As I say, not something you really want to hear. But everybody has a time when they're at their best, or when it starts to really work, or you grow into yourself. And I still have instances where I audition and it doesn't work. I had one recently and it was awful because I teach audition technique as well. And I was like, I've really failed myself here as well. But sometimes things just don't work.
Yeah.
And you can't see the reason at the time. The reason might be that you're not supposed to do that job. The reason might be that it just went wrong on that day, and that in itself is a lesson.
Yeah,
that you can't always control what happens.
Yeah.
I'd worked and worked and worked on this particular song for the audition in the character, and I thought I was marvellous. And that's probably the problem. That was probably the problem. That probably taught me, didn't it? And I just messed it up. I wasn't at my best. I don't know why, but you can't let that then be the thing that defines you for the rest of your career. You have to say, okay, on to the next. And then I got something else. So, it worked.
And I always think what's fascinating for everyone sort of watching this or listening to it as well is, you see people that have had these incredible careers and people, I suppose, forget that there is, of course, people endure disappointment every day. And I'm sure no matter how many great roles you've had,
Absolutely.
you've had so many disappointments that have gone alongside that. Is there a way that you channel that? And do you still find that does still happen?
It still happens. It still happens all the time. I still find it difficult. I still fling myself about at home, grumbling and whining and like a spoilt child, saying, "Oh, no, I can't do it. I'm going to get found out." Yeah. I have imposter syndrome, the same as everybody else. Yeah. We all feel the same. I think if you don't have that self-doubt, if you don't have some self-doubt, then it means you don't constantly want to get better. I sometimes ask my agent, if I don't get a job, how can I do better? What can I get some feedback so that I know what I'm doing wrong? Yeah. And it's not that you're doing anything, well, sometimes it is, but then you know.
Yes, yeah.
If you're not doing something wrong, then somebody else was just a bit better than you on that day, in that room. Yeah. Or they looked different to you. I can't change this. This is what I've got. Yeah. For those of you who are only listening and not watching, I'm doing hands up and down me. I look like this. I sound like this. These are my strengths. These are my weaknesses. I can work on my weaknesses. I can promote my strengths, but I can't change the fact that I look like this and I'm 5'10". Yeah. If they have a leading man in place who is 5'7", it's never going to be me. Doesn't matter whether I'm better than everybody else. It's not going to be me. Yeah. If they have another leading woman or another great character part in the show already cast who looks like me, it's not going to be me. Yeah. Or on the day, someone else is just better than me. They sing better. They have better comic time. Well, maybe not. Maybe not that. I don't know. Whatever. We can't always be best. Yeah. Yeah. We can't always be best. So you just have to think, okay, on to the next.
And if it's not right in that moment, maybe a year down the line it will be.
Next year, the year after. Yeah. Prime example of that is the current Elphaba in Wicked, yes. Emma Kingston, who had auditioned for the show not once, not twice, many times before. And it had never been She was always really close. Yeah. But for one reason or another, for the mix of what's already in a show, it wasn't her time. Yeah. Now it's her time.
Exactly. And you think because that show is so dependent on chemistry and all of that, you think it has to click, doesn't it? And, you know.
And sometimes you can be fabulous. Yeah. But just not for them on that day. Yeah. So you can't argue with that. You can't change that. Yeah. So you just have to move on to the next thing.
You mentioned, obviously, Wicked, which, you're very synonymous with Mamma Mia, but also that show, you were associated with that for, 6 years?
No, 3. Only. Well, it felt like 6. Well, no, it felt like 6 because we had the pandemic in the middle.
Oh, I see.
That's why.
But you did the tour prior to that?
I did the international tour, which was wonderful. We went to Hong Kong and Singapore and Manila, China, Zurich. I mean, travelling the world on someone else's dime is a wonderful thing.
Of course.
And then I did the national tour. Yeah. And then I went into town. But that was the year that straddled the pandemic. Yeah. Did 6 months and then 17 months off. Yeah. And then we went back for another 7 or 8. Creek.
I actually went to your reopening night.
Oh, did you?
In, I think it was about September 2021.
Yes, it was. What a wonderful evening that was.
I mean, I have no idea what it was like being part of the cast, because just being in the audience alone, I've never experienced anything like that. I mean, such heightened emotions. What did that feel like? Because surely, again, and having an audience like that in front of you, I mean, weren't we fabulous? But it must have been just incredible.
Absolutely incredible. We were all nigh on hysterical, obviously. And of course, Glinda's opening line is, "It's good to see me, isn't it?"
Yeah.
And of course, yes, it was very good.
Yeah.
The thing that I found even more emotional was when we had our first day back at rehearsal. We were at Pineapple, and the first thing we did was a music call, and they started with "Good News, She's Dead." And just to hear the ensemble singing that great big wall of sound, and we were all very messy and very emotional. It was so lovely, and because there'd been so much uncertainty and so much. Is it coming back? Isn't it coming back?
Yeah.
Is it? You know.
I think everyone, as a theatre goer as well, I think you felt like once, and particularly that show, I've seen that show so many times, but it really felt like once that is back, the world is kind of back on its axis in a way.
Yeah,
because,
I know. I call them the steamroller shows, the ones that just keep going. There's, Les Mis and The Lion King and Phantom and Mamma Mia and Wicked. They have this big power and this big, well, they're like steamrollers. They just trundle along and everything's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's like a kind of a safety. You think, oh, it's okay, they're back, they're all right.
Yeah.
And then it took a while for everything else to come back, though.
Of course,
It really did.
Yeah.
New work particularly has been
Of course.
affected, I think.
Yeah. And was it nice for you having that, not a safety net, but being able to go straight back into work?
Yes. Oh, yes. And with people I knew and loved. And a show that I knew and loved, and it was love. It was a real honour and a real joy.
Yeah,
to go back to that.
And Morrible is such, there's such a focus with Wicked on Glinda and Elphaba and all of that, but Morrible really does. It's such a fantastic part.
She's lovely, isn't she?
And it almost feels like there is so much more that could be done with it, and that's not knocking the writing, because I think it's a fantastic show, and obviously it's 2.5 hours long. But you sort of think that it's one of those parts. It's almost a shame there isn't more for her to do, even because she is so wicked, and she almost personifies.
She is. She's the only truly evil person in it, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, everyone has their own interpretation of a character and a role, and within a boundary and within the framework. But she's a psychopath. The true meaning of a psychopath. It doesn't matter what anybody else wants or thinks, as long as she gets her own way, and as long as she does what she wants on her time and on her terms, she doesn't care what the fallout or the damage is. So I think other people have moments of bad choices, but Morrible is very, very calculating, and she's like a puppet master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you think? I mean, there's obviously been so much hype around the movie.
Yes.
Have you watched the trailer for the sequel as yet?
I haven't seen the trailer for the sequel. I think it's difficult. When I did Mamma Mia and the film came out, I remember thinking, oh, this is going to not spoil the show. It's going to impact the show negatively because people are going to see the movie and they're not going to come and see the stage show. How wrong was I?
Yeah.
It made no difference whatsoever. It has made no difference to Wicked either. It's almost like a little symbiotic relationship where, although I have heard tell, whether this is true or not, but I am still in contact with Wicked quite a lot, that some people who have seen the film and only seen the film will come and see the stage show and leave in the interval because they don't want to know what happens in the end.
Yes, I did see. Which I find
it's a waste of money, isn't it?
Absolutely baffling.
Baffling.
But, I suppose that is the price they pay for having a film that's split into two.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. And of course, you can achieve all that phenomenal splendour and the scale of things.
Yeah.
But it's still a movie.
Yeah.
And there is nothing like live theatre.
And to be honest, again, as a massive fan of the show, my concern when I first heard about the movie was, well, hang on, you're never going to be able to create Defying Gravity in the way it's done in a theatre because of the spectacle of it. And
it's the shock of seeing Elphaba fly.
Exactly.
And our adult logical brains think, well, she's not flying, she can't be flying.
Yeah.
But then you see everybody rush underneath her and you think, well, she's not held from above.
Yeah.
And she's not held from below. How is this happening?
Yeah.
And it allows us to suspend that disbelief, which when you see a film, you know there's a lot of CGI, you know there's a lot of AI, you know that everything's been post-produced.
Yeah.
But when you see it happening in front of you,
Yeah.
there's nothing quite like that. Live music as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's very, it does something to you emotionally, I think.
And I think with both Mamma Mia and Wicked, with both the films, I think they timed it exactly right in the sense that they waited and, you know, they really built the fan base around the theatre shows.
Yes,
and like you say,
right.
it doesn't feel like they've suffered, really.
No, I don't think so. It's still really, really busy.
Yeah.
Really busy.
Oh, yes. So let's talk about Mamma Mia, because, you know,
Yeah.
you've made no secret of your pride and joy at having such a long-running association with that show.
Lovely.
What do you think it is that makes it what it is?
Oh, it's the perfect storm, I think. It's a number of things. The story is very simple.
Yeah.
It's easy to follow, and it's very relatable. I think the music, I think ABBA is incredible. Because I'm old, I remember watching the Eurovision Song Contest when ABBA won with Waterloo and dashing out the next day to buy the single. That's what we used to have in those days. You had to go to Woolworths or Our Price and buy the single and then take it home and play it on your record player. The music is instantly recognisable for a large number of people. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but then it doesn't have to be. All art, whether it's music, painting, theatre, opera, fashion, whatever, is subjective.
Of course.
And it moves one person and it doesn't move another. Two people can listen to the same person sing. One person's moved to tears, the other's bored to tears. It's just a lovely difference. But with ABBA, the music is difficult enough to be a challenge and easy enough to have a go at.
Yeah.
Everybody will get on a dancing floor, on the dance floor to Dancing Queen.
Yes.
It is the floor filler.
Yeah.
Also, anybody in the audience can see themselves or somebody they know very well on stage.
Yeah.
Nobody's a cookie cutter.
Yeah.
You've got all sorts of different people on the stage, all different ages, and you can see yourself. The number of times at stage door people say, "Oh, you're just like my sister. Oh my God, you're just like my next door neighbour. Oh, that's hilarious. You were like this girl I went to school with."
Yes.
It's everybody's there, and it's delightful, and it doesn't pretend to be anything it isn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It says, "Come with us, let's have a lovely time."
And I mean, so much gets said in the industry about, just in the acting industry generally, about a lack of roles for middle-aged to older women.
Older women, yes.
I mean, do you have an opinion on that? And do you think that there should be more shows like Mamma Mia, in the sense that, you know, a popular, massive mainstream show that is offering certainly at least 3 older women really
roles.
challenging roles?
Yeah, I do. It's very difficult. I think with the rise of social media, and I'm saying this with a slight roll of the eyes, influencers whose job it is to say, "Look at me, this is what I do." And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's very interesting for some people. Yeah. I think theatre is slightly youth-driven. Again, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Things change as we go through different times, different decades. Sometimes it's all older actors, sometimes it's all younger actors. At the moment, we're in a phase of a lot of things, a lot of shows. There's Mean Girls, there's Clueless, there's Six.
Yes.
Young casts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that then brings in a much younger fan base. Not unfortunately that they come in, it's wonderful. Just whatever brings you to the theatre is wonderful.
Yeah.
But the expectation is to see younger performers. Subsequently, some shows are being cast very young.
Yeah.
A recent production, not the current production, a recent production of Chicago,
Oh, yes.
Roxy and Velma were in their early 20s.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be middle-aged women.
Yeah.
But nowadays, nobody wants to see a middle-aged woman in a leotard. It's all very youth-driven. Everybody wants a perfect body, a perfect face, perfect skin. Because of Instagram, because of TikTok, it's not true. That's not what people look like.
And I think as well, there is such an appetite for nostalgia these days.
Yes.
And, well, using as an example, when, Joseph came back a few years ago and they had Lindsay Haitley reprise.
Fabulous Lindsay.
That's why I went, because I wanted to see, I know she's on the recording and all of that, but particularly going when I was a child and seeing her, I wanted to kind of reconnect with it in that way. So I think it is a shame that...
I do. I think there's a much more scope, I think, for vehicles for older actresses. And there was a fantastic musical called 70 Girls 70, and that was for older women who are in their 70s, obviously. But then I think there's enough work for older actresses in their 70s and 80s, and there's a lot of work for young actors and actresses. There's a bit of a missing gap, like you said, the Dynamos. The Dynamos should be 30s, 40s.
Yeah. Somewhere
around there. There are roles for older women, but I don't think there are enough. And let's bring it back. Any writers out there? Anybody who's a good writer? Let's write something new. I can't write, so I'm not. It's not me. I can't do it.
But yes, anyone, email your suggestions in.
Email your suggestions in.
At City Academy.
Hit me up. You can find me via my website. Come on, let's write something.
And on the positive, talking about Mamma Mia, and I mentioned like Lindsay Haitley, but when you look back at that show's really rich history, it's such a collective of, I really don't want to overuse the word iconic, but they are icons, but you've got like Sally Ann Triplett, you've got Diane Pilkington, Lindsay Haitley, Maz Murray. Are you all quite bonded from having... I know you've not all appeared in it at the same time.
No, but we are. We all do know each other. And I think it's, with those big shows, when you're there for a long time, it's a little bit like Hotel California. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. We were all, not Maz, but Lindsay, Louise Gold, the late Myra McFadden. We were all in Mamma Mia 2.
Oh, yes,
we were all faculty. In fact, the back row behind Celia Imrie, when the opening song, When I Kissed the Teacher, Celia Imrie is obviously the headmistress, and one of the other chaps at the front is Bjorn in a heavy disguise. Heavy disguise. And the rest of us are all ex-Dads and Dynamos. Which was a little Where's Wally for the fans.
Of course, yes. Which they love.
But we are all friends. We all know each other.
What's interesting about that show as well is I remember I was backstage, I think it was at Saturday Night Takeaway one week, where they had a musical special and they had they had Mamma Mia featured, and all the Dynamos were former Dynamos, because obviously they were performing on a Saturday night, so they couldn't have. But what was brilliant about that was clearly it's something that even when you walk away from it, you never quite walk away.
You never quite walk away, and there's always links. You can always go back and do bits and pieces like on the films, or you can just go in and sort of do interviews and things. With love, and I know me really well, I'm too old now. I really am too old to get the Lycra back on.
Really?
I am. I'm too old. But we did do the 20th anniversary. That was a spectacular evening. Harriet Thorpe.
Yes,
Maz. Literally Siobhan, right from the very, very beginning. Laura Mulcahy came over from Australia.
Wow.
And in the finale, when the three Dynamos walked down in the Tutti Frutti Lycra with their sparkly microphones, they normally start to sing the finale. They split. There were another three.
Oh, wow.
And then another three. And another three. And there were about 20 of us in the end. I've never seen so many middle-aged women in Lycra. It was amazing. And to have my boots.
Well, and again, it shows how big nostalgia is around us, because people love that sort of thing, Easter eggs and, bringing old cast members back and all that. So,
Oh, it was great. And I've done some wonderful things because of Mamma Mia. And Wicked as well. I've been to some amazing places. I've done some amazing performances. We've run the telly. We went and did performances in Paris. They took us all over on the Eurostar. It was fantastic. We had a lovely time.
It does seem like it is one of those shows. You did 7 years, well, like you say, not in one go, but
7 and a half all told, because a couple of long contracts, and I joined the international tour for 2 months to help out.
What do you think it is because you're not the only one that's done sort of a lengthy run there. What do you think it is with that show the appeal in terms of the retaining cast members for such a long period of time?
It's just such a joy. It's joyous. It's particularly for Tanya. I can only really speak as Tanya. I've only ever played Tanya. You get a corking character, you get fantastic costumes, you get some lovely songs, and at the end you get to sing into a Swarovski encrusted microphone. And if you're feeling rubbish, or you're feeling low, or you've had a row with your husband or your boyfriend or whatever, or whoever, or you were late getting to work and the weather's awful, you put that costume on, you sing those songs, and it's a joy. It's a joy.
Do you still do it at home from time to time?
Might have my boots, might occasionally sing some ABBA. Yeah, doing a gig on Saturday, or tomorrow, in fact. And might be singing a bit of ABBA.
See, it never leaves you.
It never leaves you. I think my neighbours wish sometimes that it would leave me.
So just to break it up a bit, I'm going to throw some quick fire at you. So
Okay.
whatever comes to your head
Right.
first.
Oh, no. Oh, gosh.
Movies to musicals or musicals to movies?
Oh, this is awful because I'm very indecisive but very opinionated. These are never good for me. Movies to musicals or musicals to movies? Both work. Both work. I would say musicals to movies.
I'll agree on that front.
Yeah.
Glass half full or glass half empty?
Oh, always half full. Glass overflowing. If you've got a full glass, you can give something to somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lengthy run or a short stint?
Oh, depends on the show, depends on the cast, depends on the management.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yes,
on that
I
one.
won't probe on that front.
And I've been very fortunate in my career. I'm just adding that as a rider.
Yes, we'll include that. Working with millennials or working with Gen Z?
Oh, working with everybody.
Lovely.
Everybody teaches you something. You learn from everybody.
Running yourself ragged or chilling out?
Yeah, both. A little bit of both. I'm happiest when I'm busy.
Yeah, yes.
I'm
relate to
happiest
that.
when I'm busy, but then sometimes all the buses come along at once and then you have to do a bit of time juggling.
Yeah,
And then you have to be very, very strict with your off time.
yes. And having a lovely day or having a glorious evening?
Well, no, again, it depends what work you're doing.
Yes.
You see, if I'm working during the evening, then I'd like both, please, because I'd like a lovely day, but I'd also really like the evening to go well.
Yes.
Filming is usually during the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I'm off and I'm not working,
Yeah.
I think I'd like a lovely day.
Yeah. A nice jam-packed day.
Oh, a nice jam-packed
Start
day
with
of
a
stuff.
podcast.
Start with a podcast, with a
Yes.
bit of shopping maybe.
Yes.
Lunch. Always lunch.
Yes.
Because then you can have time for cake later.
Fair enough. This is quite cruel, but Mamma Mia or Wicked?
No, can't. Refuse to answer the question, you see.
Fair
It's
enough.
not cruel at all. It's just
Plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth. They're both wonderful.
Yes.
Both wonderful shows, wonderful experiences, wonderful people. Wouldn't trade 1 minute of either show.
Yes. And you are so well connected, obviously, and like you were saying, I'm sure you even walking in here, you knew someone walking, down the stairs.
Yes, I did. We did Chitty Chitty Bang Bang together.
Exactly.
He was my associate director then.
If you could comprise a fantasy dinner party list with 5 West End professionals, who would they be?
Can I have Broadway as well? West
Indeed.
End or Broadway?
We're open to Broadway here too.
Do they have to be alive? Let's say, well, let's put some strictures on ourselves, I suppose.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'll be here whining all afternoon that I can't have who I want. For stories, I'd like Judi Dench
Oh, yeah.
and Patti LuPone.
Oh, there'd be a lot to ask her about.
Oh, wouldn't there? I did Sunset Boulevard with
Yes.
Patti. I would like... Oh, no, this is hard, you see, because every time I think of someone, I think of someone else. Oh, God, I think I'd probably just like my mates, actually. I just like
Fair
my
enough.
mates, and then we can have a good laugh.
I mean, you've got Judy and Patty there as
I've
well.
got Judy
for
and
the,
Patti there to kick things off.
That's the real star power.
Yeah. I think I'd have Rob Madge round because they're amazing.
Oh, yes.
And they're hilarious as well, so that would
Yeah.
get everybody hysterical.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really, really hard because there are lots of people that I admire, but the problem is at a dinner party, they wouldn't get a chance to eat because I'd be bombarding them with questions.
Fair enough.
So I think I'm just going to stop there.
Well, you mentioned Patti LuPone.
Yeah.
And obviously it's one of your first jobs, I'm sure was Sunset Boulevard.
No, that's way in. That's how old I am. It was 1993, three. No, I had auditioned. Now, here's a weird one. I'd auditioned for it and not got it.
Oh, I see.
I was down to the last 2, and they gave it to somebody else. They gave it to somebody else. We're down to the last 2 or 3. They gave it to somebody else. And I was devastated. I wanted to be in it because, I thought that's going to be amazing. And I loved the movie.
Yeah.
I thought this is going to be fabulous. Anyway, it wasn't fabulous because I wasn't in it. But I did go to the opening night as a guest of somebody else.
Oh, right.
My friend Simon Marples, who was one of the managing directors of Ticketmaster at the time. So we went and had a lovely evening. And I was a little bit whiny. Just a little bit grumbly that I wasn't in it.
Why not me?
Oh, just did a bit of eye rolling. I could have done that, that sort of thing. And then the person who they had cast had to leave halfway through the first contract. And they phoned my agent, and I went in and just did one workshop very briefly with them, and was in it 10 days later. I was on stage 10 days later.
Wow.
So I only had 10 days to get in.
And again, going back to what we were talking about at the beginning, everything does happen for a reason.
That I wasn't supposed to be in it at the beginning.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be in it then. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I just did the back half of the first year.
Yeah.
And that's all I did.
And I
With
assume so.
Patti.
And I was going to say, so she was still in it.
Oh, yes.
Which must have just been incredible when you've got literally a Broadway legend.
It was, her performance was something that I had never up until that point witnessed, in that it worked as well, as close to me as you are.
Yeah.
And at the back of the upper circle.
Yeah.
It didn't matter where you were, whether you were next to her or whether you were miles away from her, her performance was as extraordinary.
Yeah.
And the first time I'd actually worked with her or actually met her properly, I'd met her obviously during the rehearsal period, but we hadn't been on the stage together until that night that I went on. Wow. So, and I was Joanna, who also plays the reporter, one of the reporters in the final scene when the house tracks down and she has her complete breakdown coming down the stairs. And I didn't have to do any acting. I just stood there and just looked at her, and she's extraordinary. Yeah. Extraordinary.
Yeah. Yes. What a performer.
Amazing.
That's all you can say.
Yeah.
And you mentioned as well, from one legend to another, Harriet Thorpe.
The lovely Harriet.
Who is obviously now in EastEnders.
She is.
And brilliant in it. You've obviously done a lot of TV, and I think you've done EastEnders, haven't you, as well?
Not a lot. Some, but not as much as I have done theatre.
Yeah. Would that be something you would ever do in that sense of doing a long-running role?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I would. Just haven't got one yet.
Maybe that character has a long-lost sister.
Funnily enough, that's our running joke, because we've both played Tanya in Mamma Mia.
And Morrible.
And we've both played Morrible, and you could not find 2 women who are less physically alike than me and Harriet. And we joke that people can't tell us apart, that we're twins, separated at birth.
Yeah.
And she said, well, you have to be my long-lost sister in East. And I was like, yes, of course I will, because we look so alike. And people will walk in and say, surely that's Elaine's sister, because they look so alike. We don't look alike, reader.
Yeah.
Listener, we don't. But she's great. We're good friends.
Can you pull a pint now?
Oh, yeah. I worked in the bar at college.
Oh, right. So
Oh, yes. I'm very good at Guinness. If anyone wants me to pull a pint of Guinness,
Yes.
I'm your girl.
Well, EastEnders, Coronation Street, here you are.
Here I go. Yeah.
Is there anything, it's a bit of a negative, but is there anything that when you're doing a long run that irritates you about a job? Because I find, for one, obviously only doing Amdram, but I get a bit irritated by the rehearsal process sometimes, because I'm like, I just want
to get on and do it.
Once I've done a scene once, I'm like, I just actually want to do it now. I obviously like the meeting people and all of that. But is there anything that you just think, any sort of bugbears?
I don't particularly like tech rehearsals, because I just find them a little bit, they go on a bit. But they have to go on a bit, because you've done your rehearsal time, and then the tech is not only for you, it's for everybody else. And obviously, as you say, as performers, we're the show ponies. We want to get on and show everybody what we do. But you have to be safe doing it.
Yeah.
Hence technical rehearsals. And some people I know love them because they can bed things in and try new things. And I don't think so.
I mean, you said you were glass half full, so maybe
yeah,
not.
I am a bit. I'm annoyingly glass half full. I drive myself a bit mad. I think I irritate me most of all. I do get impatient, and I'm horrible to people sometimes.
Or horrible.
Horrible. But I think we all are. I
Yeah.
think you just have to own it.
Yeah.
And if I ever do something of which I'm heartily ashamed, or say something I think, oh, I wish I hadn't said that because it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Then if the time is right, I will apologise. And if not, it will keep me awake for years on end. So just know that.
So anyone that you've offended who's listening
if it's anyone
now,
that I've offended,
just a mass apology.
who happens to be listening to this
Yes.
podcast, know that I am truly sorry.
And I say this in the nice possible way, but you
Yes,
are
do
a
it.
real veteran
She's
of
old,
the industry.
Old.
And have really built a profile for yourself, obviously based on the kind of, the quality of the roles that you play. What's your opinion on stunt casting?
That's a really tricky one. I think it depends on who has been cast. There are people that I know who, some people say, oh, it's stunt casting. They've only cast them because they were in that film or on that TV series. But actually, their background might actually be in musical theatre.
Yeah.
It might be in theatre. They might be an extremely good stage actor. Stage acting and screen acting are two very, very different things. Screen and TV is very internalised, and less is more, and the thought has to reflect in micro expression. The problem with that is micro expression isn't going to reach somebody who's paid money to come and see you at the back of the circle.
Yeah.
So there has to be a slightly different process, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But a good actor is a good actor. Doesn't matter where they've come from.
Yeah.
Prime example, Hannah Waddingham.
Yes.
The divine Hannah Waddingham.
Yeah.
Who I did Lautrec with at the Shaftesbury, and who has always been the most incredible actor and musical theatre actor.
Yeah.
Got known for doing TV, and then all of a sudden flung them the rest of her repertoire, and everybody was, I never knew she could sing. Well, that's just,
yeah.
She could do. I think she could do everything though. So.
And I love how when she won her Emmy, she said, "We need more theatre and musical performers." Yeah.
And we do that. But it's like anything. If you're a good actor, then you will be a good straight actor. You will be a good comedy actor. You will be a good musical theatre actor.
Yeah.
Because you're a good actor. That's the basis of everything for me.
Yeah.
Some people disagree. They say it's all about the singing voice. And I urge you to listen to Judi Dench sing Send in the Clowns.
Yes. It is on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, and it will
is.
rip your heart out and stamp
Yes.
on it. Is it the best vocals? No.
But it really doesn't matter.
But I've
does
heard
it?
people with the most exquisite voices, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Because they don't move me, because they're not telling me a story. They're singing exquisitely, and I would never take away their skill as a singer.
Yeah.
But some people can not tell the story.
Yeah.
And that's the stories that make people go back to a show again and again and again.
And I noticed when you did About Bill, you talked about that was something that really scared you, feeling the fear, obviously, of the huge challenge that was. Do you still get that, and do you embrace that?
Yes. Oh, yes. Performers that tell you, again, this is only my opinion, and there will be people that disagree with me, and that's fine. We can agree to disagree without calling each other names, I think. Some people not so much on social media. There we are. I think we all know what we do well. If you know yourself really well, you know what you do well, you know what you don't do so well.
Yeah.
And if anybody says to you, or if anybody tells their students, I'm not nervous before I go on stage. I'm never nervous. I never have any nerves. Well, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because it means you don't care about the outcome.
Yeah.
the nerves is not, it's can I do it? You know you can do it. It's can I do it well enough to satisfy myself and to satisfy everybody else.
Yeah.
People pay to come and see you do a thing. And if you don't give them your best shot, whether that's, you've only got 50% in your arsenal, give them 50%.
Yeah.
But if you don't feel that thrill of, oh, I really want to do this well, I really want to do it well, then there's something's wrong somewhere, something's off kilter.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to do things that scare you. For people that don't know, About Bill was a one-woman show, is still a one-woman show that was written for me by the late Matthew Strachan and his fabulous wife, Bernie. It's the story of a jazz trumpeter told by the women in his life, from the woman who finds out she's pregnant with him to his daughter at his graveside. And it's, some of the characters sing, some of them don't, some of them come back, some of them don't. And everything takes place on stage. It's an hour and 20 minutes. I will get changed in front of you. You will see everything happening. The scene will change in front of you. And we're all in it together. And it is absolutely terrifying.
Of course. And surely, I mean, roles are plural, obviously don't come along very often, but that must really feel like this is another level in terms of
it changed,
everything.
and it sounds really self-indulgent and really woo-wah to say it, but it changed me. The first time I ever did it, which was 10 years, or about 11 years ago now, the first time I did it, it changed me completely as an actor, because I suddenly thought, oh, right, that's what I bring to the party.
Yeah.
We all bring different things to the party. Oh, that's what I can do. Okay, now I can work on that. Now I know I can do that. That's what I can work on. But it changed how I view me.
Yeah.
For good and for bad. Because some of the things made me go, oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a thing we have to change and evolve. And some of the things I thought, oh, yeah, all right, I can do that. And it's a beautiful piece. I can't write. I said this before. I can't write. I can fix other people's writing if they think a thing doesn't work. I can sometimes see what's wrong.
Yeah.
I might not be able to tell you how to fix it, but I can find a way to help.
Yeah.
But my writing is a little trite and a bit dreary. Don't read anything I've written. Don't perform anything I've written. But I had already done a show for Matthew and Bernie called Next Door's Baby. And they said, we'll write you something. And I said, yeah, okay. And then About Bill happened, and it's the best present as an actor that I've ever been given.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Well, I mean, what a great point to finish on. I mean, there is so much to talk to you about, and I'm amazed you've not written an autobiography, because there's just so much
nobody'd
there.
be interested.
A tell-all, a juicy tell-all. No,
I'm such an open book, though. Ask me anything and I'll tell you. I'm so dreary.
Well, and as you have. But yes, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for asking me.
Your stories are absolutely fascinating, and like I say, I hope we see you back on the West End stage very, very soon.
Very, very soon. There might be something coming soon.
Oh, watch it. Well, you will have to come back on and tell us all about it.
I hate people that do that when they go, something exciting's coming, can't say what.
Yeah.
But something exciting's coming, can't say what. ...
Well, thank you so much for watching and for listening. And of course, you can find out a lot more at City Academy UK on Instagram. Kim, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Virtual round of applause and standing ovation.
Everybody, obviously.
Thank you.